Students, how are you all? I hope you are happy and healthy. Children, as you all know, we have started yesterday revision of active and passive voice. Today, we will be continuing the same topic. So children, let's start our class, and before going to start, I would like to revise what we have done yesterday. We have discussed about what is an active voice and what is passive voice, and after that we have discussed the features of active and passive voice, and we have discussed that by preposition will be used and accordingly pronouns we will change. Okay children, so we will be continuing the same topic today. So children, let's start. Now children, today is a very important topic, that is how we will use subject verb agreement in active to passive voice. So first of all, we should discuss what is subject verb agreement. Okay, so I'll write the topic on the board. The topic is the subject verb agreement. Subject verb agreement in active and passive voice, children. Okay, so today's topic, subject verb agreement. It means that subject or verb will agree together to give, or you can say in the other word, the verb is agreed with the subject. How many subject is there? If it is subject is plural, so the verb become plural. If the subject is singular, so according to the verb rule, it will change. Suppose, first of all, I'll give you, he plays. Why we are using he plays? Because he is a singular subject. Okay, that is why we have used over here verb, this type of a verb, plays. If in place of that, if it is written they play, why we are writing? Because this is plural subject, and because of the rule of verb that when the subject is singular, we will place over here s. So according to the rule of the verb, we have placed he plays. According to the subject, we have changed the verb. Now here, according to the subject, we have changed the verb. So this is a very short example, very small example for you to understand what is verb agreement. Subject verb agreement, it means subject and verb will do or will write the sentence in a very collaborative way. Why? Because it is they both are depend on each other. So that is why they will change accordingly to the subject, and the verb will change according to the subject. The subject, if it is singular, so it will change accordingly. The subject is plural, so it will change accordingly. So this is how we can say this is subject verb agreement. Okay children, so we will see in the active and passive voice the same thing. The same thing will be followed in the active and passive voice. I have given this example for understand or revise what is subject verb agreement, because many children having confusion regarding this. So what is subject verb agreement, madam? I can't understand. So this is very simple example to understand. According to the subject, the verb will be changed. Okay, so it is depend on the subject, which type of the subject is this. So accordingly verb will be changed, that is called subject verb agreement. Now we are moving to the main point. It is important to note, I'll write on the board, it is important to note What we note? Note that the subject must agree with the verb in all sentences in the passive voice. Too. Okay, children? As I have given example, he plays the game, whatever it is in active voice. But in the passive voice, it is also must that it is important to note that the subject must agree with verb. If subject is not agree with verb, so it will incorrect. So that is why whenever you are changing in passive voice, active voice to passive voice, so this rule you will follow, otherwise your sentence become wrong. Now children, for this I will give you one example how we will change. The gown was stitched by the tailor. Children. Okay. The gown was stitched by the tailor. Okay. Now example, the gowns were stitched by the tailor. Now children, here you can see, this is gowns. You can see the change. The gown was stitched by the tailor. The gowns were stitched by the tailor. Why we have used over here verb, auxiliary verb as was? Why? Because gown is a singular verb, subject. That is why we have used over here was. And why we are using were over here? Because gowns is a plural subject. That is why we have used over here were. Okay children? So I think it is clear to you. It is clear. It is very clear to you because according to the subject, we will change in the verb. According to the verb, we will change in the subject. Okay children? So it will, you can say it will work as a vice versa. So, but collaboratively. Okay? Now, if you can see the singular, this is singular, and this is plural. So according to this, we will change it. Okay children? Now we are moving to the next. So now children, we are moving to preposition. So as you all know, we are using by in the active to passive voice. When we are making passive voice, we are using by. Preposition by we are using. So here verbs and preposition. Verbs and preposition. Okay children. Now as you all know, we are using while making active to passive voice by. One preposition we are using. Now here verb and preposition. So what is the meaning of? So verbs in the active voice, that are followed by prepositions, preposition, retain them when they are changed into the passive voice, children. Okay. Now for this I will give you one example. They laughed at the clown. They laughed at the clown, children. So this is active voice. Now here I am making this passive. The clown was laughed at by them. This is passive voice. So what change you have noticed? You have noticed over here verbs in the active voice that are followed by the preposition. Retain them when they are changed into passive voice. So here verbs in the active voice that are followed by the preposition. So here you can see the verb which is followed by the preposition at the clown. Now here you can see it is followed by the preposition. Now we have to retain same in the passive voice. So the clown was laughed at by them. By we will use, and but we have to retain this at also because it is followed by the verb. So that is why we will use this. Now children, I will give you few example, or you can say I will draw a table on the board how to convert verbs. So that we will learn. If we will take verb bake, so how can we write in the different type of tenses? So children, if we will take bake, bake is a verb. So how we will change? So first of all, I will write on the board simple present tense. Okay. Now again present continuous tense, present continuous tense, present perfect tense, present perfect, then present perfect continuous tense, now next past continuous, simple past, past continuous, and then past perfect. For this table you can understand past perfect continuous tense, continuous tense. Now simple future, future continuous tense, future continuous tense, future perfect tense, future perfect, and future perfect continuous tense. Perfect continuous tense. Okay children. Now this is word. Now we will make this in active and passive voice. This is active voice and this is passive voice. So how we will change in this sentence. Okay. So first of all, in simple present tense, bake, what we will write? Bake. So here, bake or bakes. In passive voice, what we will write? So children, what we will write in is according to the are baked. We will write bake in the past tense, baked in the passive voice. Now present continuous tense. Present continuous tense in active voice is or are baking, is are baking. Okay. In passive voice, what we will write is are being. Being we will use in the continuous tense while making passive voice, children. So being baked. Okay, being baked. As you all know, we will change in the verb in the past tense. So similarly we will use. Now in the present perfect tense. So bake, how we will write? Has and have baked. Has and have baked, as you all know. Has and have plus third form of the verb we are using, or past participle. Now here what we will do? Has and have been. Has and have been. Here baked. Okay, baked in the passive voice. Okay. Now present perfect tense. Present perfect continuous tense, has been and have been will be there. So here what we will do? We will do has been baking in the active voice, and in passive voice what we will write? We will write nothing. No form will be used in the passive voice. So children, remember this, that in present perfect continuous tense we are not going to change, because in passive voice we are not making any sentences in present perfect continuous tense. Okay children. Now we are moving to the simple past tense. Simple past tense in active voice, what we will write? Second form of the verb, yes, baked. Okay, second form of the verb. Now what we will do in the passive voice? That is was or were baked. Was or were baked, children. Okay. Now past continuous tense. So was and were baking. Okay, baking. Now in passive voice what we will do? Similarly what we have done in the present continuous tense, similarly we will do, but in place of is am are we will use was and were being baked. Being baked, children. Okay. Now in past perfect tense. Past perfect tense, active voice, has and have, and then sorry, only had will be there, had, and then third form of the verb will be used, so baked. Okay, had baked. Okay. Now in passive voice, had been baked. Had been baked. Okay. Now as you all know, in the present perfect continuous tense we are not making any passive voice. So in the same way this will also no form in the passive voice, but we have to learn how to write in the active voice. So for this, had been baked. Okay, had been baked will be there. Now simple future tense. Will bake, shall bake. This we will be using over here. Simple future tense. Will bake in the active voice. And how we will write in the passive voice? Will be baked. Will be baked. Will be baked. For this table you can easily understand, because this is very good table, I think. Future continuous tense. So what we are using in this active voice, future continuous, will be baking. Will be baking. Okay children, will be baking. Now in the passive voice, what we will do? No passive form. No passive form. Remember this. In this future continuous tense, we are not going to make any passive form, children. Okay. Now future perfect. Future perfect, what we will do in the active voice? So children, in active voice we will write will have baked. Will have baked, children. Okay. Will have baked. In this, will have been baked. Will have been baked. In the passive voice we will change like this. And now future perfect continuous tense, as you all know, we are not going to convert in passive, no form, okay, or passive voice, but we have to learn how to convert in active voice. So we are going to write over here, children. Okay, future perfect continuous tense, will have been baking. Will have been baking, children. Okay, but in passive voice we are not going to write. Okay, so this table, learn this, because I have taken bake in a different form. Present, simple present tense, bake and bakes and is or are baked in passive voice. Present continuous tense in active voice, has and have baked, has and have been baked. Present perfect continuous, has been baking, no form will be there. Simple past, baked was were baked. Past continuous was were baking, was were being baked in the passive voice. Now past perfect, had baked, had been baked. Okay. Simple future tense, will bake, will be baked. And here you can say past perfect continuous tense, we are not going to make any form of passive voice. Future continuous, will be baking, no passive form will be used in the future continuous tense. And now here future perfect tense, will have been baked, we will write in the passive voice, and future perfect continuous tense we are not going to convert in passive voice. So these are this is the table that is very important for you. How to convert, what are the things we will use. So after that we will start in the simple tense how we will convert active to passive voice. So children, let's start. Now children, we will learn how to change simple present tense in active to passive voice. Simple present tense, as we are using in simple present tense, if a singular is there we will use he plays, he goes. If the plural form is there we are using they play, they eat. So simple present, what is the rule changing active to passive voice, children? Simple present tense. So the rule is passive voice rule. Passive voice, how to convert, that is, am and are plus past participle. Okay, active voice, so there is no use to, I think it is very clear to you what is active voice. So I am not writing active voice, what is the rule of making active voice, but I am writing passive voice. So passive voice, the rule is MR plus past participle. Okay children, so I will give you one example. She decorates the house during festival. Okay children, it is as simple as we have done before. Okay, she decorates. Now here, because she is there, that is why decorates we are using. Okay, she decorates the house during festival. So what is the rule? Changing is MR of passive form. So it is how we will use. We will write over here, the house is decorated by her during festivals. Why we are using this? The house. Why this house? Because house over here a singular form. That is why we are using the house is decorated by her during festival. Okay children, accordingly we will change. As you can learn from here, subject, verb, agreement also. For this example you can learn, because here she decorates the house, or if suppose if it is written they decorate the house. So how we will change? We will change accordingly, because house is a singular object. That is why the house is decorated by them during festival. So accordingly the subject we will change verbs. Okay. Now I will give you one more example for simple present tense, that is who sings devotional songs. Okay, this is question, but it is in the present tense. So what we will do? By whom are the devotional songs sung? Okay. Now because who is there, that is why we have used by whom. Okay. By whom are the devotional songs? Because songs is there, that is why we have to write are. By whom are the devotional songs sung? Okay. So I think it is clear to you, the simple present tense. Now I will write active voice also. So what is the how to convert active to passive voice or passive to active voice? So I think it is necessary to write down. So root form of the verb, will be there, and after that sometimes with s and es. Okay, does or do, these will be followed. So this is the rule of active voice, making active voice. So children, I think it is clear to you, simple present tense. It is as simple as we are doing in the tenses. So passive voice is are plus past participle we will use. Now example I have given, she decorates the house during festival. Now we are changing in passive voice. What we are doing here? The house is decorated by her during festival. Okay. So here decorated, because past participle we are using, and is MR because house is a singular, that is why this verb we will use. So is we are using, decorate because past participle, then we have changed in a decorated. By we will use this preposition we will use, and after that subject. Subject become object and object become subject, as we have discussed earlier in our videos, and this is the formation of active to passive voice. We are doing zigzag thing. So object becomes subject, subject become object. So this will be continuing in the all tenses. So this is the main, you can say this is the format of making active to passive voice. Okay children. So this structure we will be following in our coming topics also. So tomorrow we will discuss more tenses, how to convert active to passive voice. We will discuss rules. Okay children. So we will be continuing the same topic tomorrow also. So till then, bye bye and take care.